champion and men who have to fight for boxing. It's different guys, people. Wow. Anthony, Tyson Fury should have done the same. Yes, but I don't know why Tyson Fury watch this show. Anthony go to ring, do good work. Good job. Yes. Hey, listen.
He's got absolutely no chance. I think he's going to get smashed to pieces.
Jake Paul just got knocked out in sparring, and Oleksandr Usyk did not hold back. Usyk made it clear that Anthony Joshua is on another level and that Jake Paul is not a real boxer. With this kind of performance, it looks like December will be a tough night for Paul.
Last fight, it's great. Because Anthony is Olympic champion, Francis Ngannou, it's second fight for boxing. Listen.
Jake Paul's words sound almost like a warning. But the reality of the sparring session tells a different story. After taking a harsh beating from Usyk, it's clear that confidence alone won't carry him through. The gap in skill, experience, and timing is showing, and December's fight is shaping up to be far more one-sided.
I'm genuinely sorry. I want to apologize in advance because I know the emotional turmoil you're going to go through. You're going to go into hiding. That's who you are. You love to go and hide, and so that's what's going to happen.
Carl Frampton's insight makes it clear that Anthony Joshua is in a different class. Watching Jake Paul in training, it's obvious he struggles against even basic pressure. Every punch seems to rattle him, and there's no composure. Joshua's power and experience...
Do you think it doesn't harm AJ?
I don't think it does harm.
Why?
Because I just think he goes and, if it's a real fight, he'd go and blow him away and around. That's the end.
But if he doesn't do him in a round...
David Benders reminds everyone why Anthony Joshua dominates. Jake Paul lacks the experience and fundamentals needed to survive in a real heavyweight contest. Watching him spar, his mistakes are obvious and costly. Joshua's precision and timing will punish any error, leaving Paul with no room to adapt. This fight is not about hype. It's about skill, power, and timing. And all signs point to Joshua taking complete control from round one.
Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him.
Gareth A. Davies nails it with reality check. Jake Paul has zero experience at heavyweight level, and it shows even in controlled sparring. Joshua's sheer size, speed, and punching power are terrifying for someone so inexperienced. Fans who think this is an even fight are dreaming. Joshua will dominate every exchange while Paul struggles to defend. This is about a real heavyweight proving his place in the ring, and Paul looks completely unprepared.
I completely agree with Ben. I mean, that's the biggest issue with the fight. You know, let's be fair. Jake Paul is an area level fighter, British area level fighter. That's where he's at as a cruiserweight. He's stepping in against a very big heavyweight who's a massive puncher. Just go back to the second fight with Oleksandr Usyk. Look how great Oleksandr Usyk has become. And you go back and look at some of the highlights of Joshua's attacks on Usyk and gave him a really hard time.
Watching can see. Jake Paul's sparring sessions show he is out of depth and easily rattled. Anthony Joshua will not hold back, and Paul has no real way to cope with that level of aggression. This fight is not a show, it's a reality check. Joshua will dominate, landing clean shots while Paul struggles, making this an inevitable lesson on why skill, power, and experience outweigh hype every single time.
Easy fight for him, and I think this should be laid to rest, because I don't think AJ's going to go in and try and pat. AJ's going to smoke him.
Logan Paul's words perfectly capture Joshua's physical and technical edge. Jake Paul is facing someone built to dominate the heavyweight division. Watching Paul struggle, even in simple drills, proves the mismatch. Every punch from Joshua will carry power and precision that Paul simply cannot handle. This fight will be a showcase of real boxing skill and dominance, leaving no doubt who is the true heavyweight threat in December.
Josh was 6'6".
Okay.
My brother's 6 foot. This is a guy who is already perfect. Like, if you could sculpt like a perfect gladiator human being, it's Anthony Joshua.
Duke McKenzie sums it up clearly. Jake Paul is flashy online but fragile in the ring. His sparring shows he lacks composure and skill against real heavyweights. Anthony Joshua will control every moment of the fight with his power and experience, leaving Paul helpless. There is no debate over who is the favorite. This will be another straightforward win for Joshua as he dominates the ring and reminds everyone why hype.
You know what? I need to get my fighter a couple of easy ones just to get his confidence back, so he can bring him back to the fore, bring him back to everybody's imagination. Everybody sees him knocking somebody out, looking good doing it. So this guy's made for Anthony Joshua. It'll be another Ngannou early night for Joshua, where he gets a little bit of confidence.
Sam Jones is pointing out the obvious risk Jake Paul faces. Watching his sparring sessions, it is clear he lacks defense and timing. Joshua's power is brutal and accurate. Every exchange will expose Paul's weaknesses and there is no room for mistakes. Fans can expect Joshua to control the fight from start to finish. This is not about entertainment.
Listen, we can all joke, but nobody wants any permanent damage to happen to Jake Paul. But if Anthony Joshua hits Jake Paul with the right hand he hit Francis Ngannou with, he could brown bread.
Logan Paul confirms what every boxing fan sees. Jake Paul has never faced a real knockout artist like Anthony Joshua. His sparring struggles and lack of fundamentals are obvious. Joshua's precision and power will neutralize Paul's energy and confidence immediately. Any illusions of competitiveness are gone once the bell rings. This fight is not about hype or YouTube fame.
Joshua thing is crazy.
Is that a real conversation?
Jake's a fucking lunatic, and it's probably real. I saw Joshua knock out Francis Ngannou, and the guy was like out cold for 5 minutes. And this is a guy who had never been knocked down, let alone knocked out.
If he steps in the ring with him, and actually a bell rings and there are punches thrown, every bit of Jake Paul is not a real boxer conversation is gone.
Tunny Jeff makes it clear that Joshua is the complete package. Jake Paul's power is limited and unreliable against a real heavyweight. Watching him spar, it is obvious he struggles with defense, footwork, and timing. Joshua's skill, experience, and punching power create a huge mismatch. Every move Paul makes will be calculated and countered. Fans should expect a dominant performance. This fight will demonstrate why experience and technique always overpower hype and raw energy in the heavyweight division.
Paul is going to win this fight by knockout. You would think I'm absolutely crazy, right? But the thing is, it can happen. 10-ounce gloves, heavyweight, Jake Paul can punch hard. But do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not, mate. Anthony Joshua is an absolute beast, an unbelievable, highly skilled, highly trained, highly experienced professional boxer with power in both hands, and he's really good at finishing.
Spencer Oliver sums it up perfectly. Jake Paul is completely outclassed. Watching his sparring sessions, it is evident he cannot handle the speed, power, or technique of a real heavyweight like Anthony Joshua. Every attempt to land a shot is countered and every defense is tested. Fans know this is not about showmanship or hype. Joshua will dominate with precision and force. Paul's lack of experience and exposure to elite boxers will make the fight a one-sided.
Help Jake Paul, that's all I can say. We saw that what Anthony Joshua had done to Francis Ngannou. He went out there and iced him in a couple of rounds. A guy coming from a different discipline. Well, this kid's coming from another level. You know, white-collar boxing in 2018, gone through the mill, and the only boxer really that he's actually boxed, a legitimate boxer he got beat by, and that was in Tommy Fury.
Tony Bellew makes the reality clear. Jake Paul's sparring and limited boxing skills prove he cannot withstand Joshua's power. Every round will be controlled by Joshua, and the fight will end when he chooses. Paul will be exposed at every turn, struggling to defend and survive. Fans can expect a decisive performance with no surprises. Joshua's experience, strength, and technique guarantee a dominant showing. This is a lesson in why hype cannot replace real skill in the ring.
Because if Anthony Joshua puts 10-ounce gloves on and gets in a boxing ring and Jake Paul is in the other corner, this won't last long. This will last as long as Josh wants it to last.
Derek Chisora nails the brutal reality. Jake Paul is completely outclassed against a heavyweight like Anthony Joshua, who can punch, move, and control the ring like a seasoned champion. Watching Paul in training, he struggles with timing, footwork, and defensive awareness. Every round will test his survival as Joshua dominates exchanges with sharp jabs and power shots. There is no scenario where Paul can extend the fight. Fans should expect a decisive performance where Joshua punishes every mistake and asserts total control from the opening bell, showing why experience and skill matter most in a heavyweight clash.
No, I don't back Jake Paul. That means what is it you're doing? He has to smoke him in 3 rounds. The same way he did in Ngannou. How many rounds was in Ngannou?
2, second round.
Exactly. So he has to smoke.
Johnny Nelson highlights the extreme danger for Jake Paul. His sparring exposes poor defensive instincts and hesitation. Joshua will exploit gaps in Paul's guard and punish every poorly timed attack. Normally, authorities might not sanction this fight, but business overrides safety. Fans can expect a fast-paced and punishing bout where Joshua dominates both mentally and physically. Paul's overconfidence will be punished as Joshua controls distance, timing, and power, leaving Paul unable to respond effectively and showing the massive gap between hype and real boxing skill.
So you think this could be dangerous for Jake Paul?
Oh my goodness, without a doubt. Now the governing bodies now have got to look at this. Would they sanction this fight in any other dimension? No, they wouldn't. But unfortunately, boxing is now more business than show. And this is business. And so the sanctioning bodies aren't going to say, no, this kid doesn't deserve to be there. You look.
Frank Warren perfectly explains why Joshua is the overwhelming favorite. Paul's limited fights, none against heavyweights, show he is unprepared for Joshua's skill and power. His sparring highlights weaknesses in defense, movement, and punch resistance. Joshua has knockout power in both hands, Olympic-level technique, and elite experience. Every step Paul takes will be punished. Fans will witness a complete mismatch where Joshua dominates each exchange. This will underline the difference between professional skill and hype as Joshua controls the fight from start to finish, leaving Paul struggling to cope with a true heavyweight champion.
AJ's a massive favourite. He's a natural heavyweight, two-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist. We've all seen him. He can punch, he can bang. You see what he's done to Ngannou. Jake Paul, I don't think he's had amateur experience. He's had 12 fights, I think.
Duke McKenzie perfectly sums it up. For Joshua, this is a lucrative fight where he can assert dominance without much risk. Paul's sparring shows he is far from ready to face a world-class heavyweight. Joshua can control rounds, dictate pace, and punish mistakes with devastating precision. A single serious error by Paul could end the fight immediately, highlighting the gap in skill. Fans will see Joshua dominate effortlessly, expose every weakness, and leave Paul overwhelmed. This fight proves why experience, power, and skill make Joshua the superior fighter in every aspect, and why hype alone cannot compete.
Easiest fight of his career. If he wants to get 100 million and not even break sweat, you take the fight. Is it going to enhance his stock as the world's #1 contender? Not at all, because nobody's going to take Jake Paul seriously. But on the other hand, I don't even want to play devil's advocate. What if Joshua seriously hurts this guy, and puts this guy in hospital?
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul is shaping up to be one of the most one-sided fights in recent memory. Joshua brings Olympic gold, multiple world titles, and years of elite experience. While Paul is stepping up far beyond his skill level, the sparring footage and expert opinions show that Paul lacks the defensive awareness, timing, and power to survive against a true heavyweight. If Joshua wins, it will be another statement performance, confirming why he is a top 2 professional boxer capable of ending fights early and dominating every round. If by some miracle Jake Paul shocks the world, it would be a historic upset that defies all boxing logic and hype. Mentally, Joshua is calm, confident, and prepared, while Paul has shown overconfidence and vulnerability in sparring. Fans should expect a masterclass from Joshua and an easy night for the champion. Quick question, whose side are you on in this matchup? Tell us in the comments below and join the debate now.